Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are watching us from. I am your regular host for the Connect with Comfort show, by name Comfort Eyitayo. It is indeed a pleasure for having you this evening joining us on this show. As we always say, this show is aimed at adding value to people on business, enterprise, and personal growth. The show is organized with special guests who are subject matter experts on the topic of the day. And we have such guests in the house already with us. So it is my pleasure to have you join us for the topic that we're treating today. It's an interesting one. In today's world that is characterized by rapid changes and constant evolution, the ability to navigate transition seamlessly has become a defining factor for success. You may wonder, why do you transit? For so many reasons, you can transit from one level to the other. You can change course altogether. So it's still transition. So today the topic is strategies for a seamless shift. Strategies for a seamless shift. Whether it's adapting to new technologies, like I said, it can be for different reasons why you are making changes to your business or making changes in your organization. It can also be for redefining business models. If you have started a business that you feel you need to change the course of direction that you are going, or want to enhance it, it involves an element of transition. You may also want to be embracing innovative approaches. The strategies we employ during this shift, this transition or change, is what will make the difference. So today we want to look at all these various factors and provide insights to effective strategies that not only facilitate smooth transition but also empower individuals and organizations to thrive in the face of change. As you all know, change is the most constant thing in life, so it must happen. So for us to go into this, please remain connected. We'll be on a short break and we'll be right back. Thank you.
I was searching, I was looking for meaning.
Thank you for remaining connected. Like I said earlier on, we have our guest in the house already waiting, and our distinguished guest for today on this very important topic is our Uthman Ibrahim. She is our special guest today, and she is a business advisory coach. So definitely we are in good hands for great insights on this particular topic. Please join me in making welcome our guest for today, Awa Uthman Ibrahim. Awa, you are most welcome. Thank you for joining
Thank
us,
you.
for
Thank you
availing
for
us
having
of
me.
your vast experience and time to share with our audience today. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for having me. Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. So, without much ado, we'll go straight away into our first question. And I will ask, what are the key elements that should be included in preparing phase to ensure a smooth transition? The key elements in preparing for smooth transition.
Thank you very much for having me once again. So, before we delve into the key elements, we first of all need to know the exact meaning of transitioning, which a lot of people think that when you talk of seamless shift or change management, you all they think of big organizations. So when you're managing change or going through change, you feel like a lot of people feel like they don't need to have as much insight on transitioning as big companies. It's just a matter of moving from one step to the other. But in reality, it takes way more than that. I'm going to talk as a business consultant and I'm going to talk from a business perspective. So, when you are transitioning from one stage of business to another, whether it's growth from one stage to the other, or you're introducing new products to the market, or you're pivoting completely from one course to another, just like you mentioned earlier, there are certain key elements that you need to have in check for you to have a smooth transition. So, the first thing is effective communication. If you have individuals that you work with or all the stakeholders involved in this transition, you need to have effective communication with them. You need to do background research. So you're pivoting or you're changing or you're moving from one growth stage to another. You need to do your background research on this particular change that is going to happen to you or your organization. Another key element that you need to know is what tools or what strategies are you going to use in order to make sure that this transition that you're moving is seamless and effective and efficient at the same time. Because nobody wants to move from bad to worse. Everybody wants to move from something good to something better. So, what are the strategies? What are the things that you need to know in order for you to have this movement seamlessly? And I talked about communication, I talked about research, the tools that you're going to use, technology, means of movement, communication across your employees, and all that. So, yes, those are the key elements.
Thank you very much. Actually, you've given a full synopsis of the topic in answering that question. Thank you very much. At least our audience are giving the right direction, because some people, like you said, always believe that this type of issue relates to big organizations only. But like I said, small businesses, you may have a particular line of business that you want to change or even enhance to a bigger stage, like you said, from good to better, or change direction altogether. You may have thought you've done your research, background research, feasibility study and everything, and along the line you find it's not working for you, you change course, you don't get stuck.
Mhm,
So these are reasons why we are actually dealing with this, and it means It applies to small businesses and big organization as well. So we need to consider all these important things that our guests have told us as key elements on having smooth transition or shift. Now, part of what you touched on is planning. You have to plan. So, how crucial is thorough planning for seamless shift in any business?
There is no change management or seamless shift that can happen effectively without thorough planning. If you plan to fail, you fail to plan, you
To
plan to
plan.
fail. That's the saying. So when you're doing something that involves transitioning or anything actually in particular in life, you have to plan. You have to know the directions that you're going to go. You have to have a backup plan, and that backup plan has to have another backup plan in case something happens. You have to have contingency strategies in place in order for this to happen. Now, let me not do big English. when you when you are trying to move from one stage to another, the first thing you do is you have to write it down. Writing it down means having certain goals and objectives towards this plan, this transition. So where are you heading to? How are you going to get there? What are you going to use to get to that place? That is planning. It's not big English, and it's not something that you need to study in order for you to have a smooth transition. It's as simple as, where are you heading to? How do you intend to get there? And what
What do you require?
strategies, yes, what do you require in order for you to get to that destination? So if you're running a business and you're moving from a certain level that you are, and you're growing into a new level, you just sit down and write everything that you need for you to get there. If you're planning on opening a shop, for example, you're a small business owner and you want to open a shop and you want to start selling from an outlet, the first thing you need to check is, okay, is my business ready for this type of growth? That's your background research. You're doing your planning. Okay, I want to open an outlet. This is what I require. I require a space. I require a lot of money to get that space. I require money for transitioning, buying equipment, or setting up the outlet and producing enough products or services in order for that outlet to be effective and efficient for customers to come and buy. This is you planning. And then you've set up your objectives, you've set up your goal. Now, how do you get there? It means what? You need to start saving money from your business in order to get that outlet. Okay, are you seeking investment? You need to write that down. If it's not investment, are you trying to get share? You're doing an equity, share equity. You need to write that down. So this is planning. You're doing thorough planning in order to get from one stage to another. If you're pivoting, it's the same thing. If you're doing if it's a big organization and you're part of a big organization, it doesn't have to be a business. You're an employee and your organization is going through change and you're in charge of that change management. You need to put down that thorough planning in place in order to get to where you're going.
Thank you very much. So we have been told in every stage we need planning, because if we fail to plan, we are planned to fail. Very, very important. No, it's not like a big thing when we talk of planning. If she has broken it down for us, it's as simple as just addressing your mind to what you want to do, what you need to do it, how you have to do it, and where to do it. That's as simple as that. It can have a little embellishment here and there, but that's just the simple scenario, so that that gets you started on the right footing, so to say. Thank you very much for that. Now, when we talk of planning, can you tell us, or maybe you can identify potential challenges during planning stages, and what measure can we take to address such proactively while
Okay,
we are
so when
planning
you're
the challenges? Yeah.
yes, so when you're planning, you also need to plan that that particular potential plan that you wrote may or may not work.
Not work.
So
Okay.
it's easy for you to have a plan in place, but then along the way, you're going to definitely have challenges. And if you're running a business, because we're talking from a business perspective, in a place or in a part of the world like Nigeria or in Africa, you're bound to have challenges that are internal and external. So internal challenges are directly related to your business. So you're trying to, I'm still going to use the example of getting the outlet. So along the way, you find out that, okay, the money that you have or you planned to get an outlet is not enough. So that is a challenge in your plan. It has disrupted your plan. So what do? You look for contingency plan. You have to have a contingency plan, which is more or less like a backup plan in simple English. So you have to
Plan.
have a backup plan. Exactly. You have to have a backup plan, and you need to say, okay, I need to source out money from somewhere, whether it's crowdfunding, whether it's investment, whether it's getting a loan or a grant. This is a challenge, and you are trying to go around that challenge and overcome it. Now, external challenges can come through, for example, government policies. So there are government policies that are involved in as challenges when it comes to business owners, especially in this part of the world. So there are government challenges. There's you need to register for certain things.
Environmental challenge.
Environmental challenges are also there.
Yeah.
Environmental challenges, financial challenges, governmental challenges. All these are
Okay.
external challenges that you may not have
Quite
control
right.
over, but you can walk around getting them solved, or you have a backup plan to go around them.
Quite right. Quite right. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you think you've gotten everything well planned, and all of a sudden there's a maybe
Something
roadblock
comes
to
up
your
and
shop,
you're back to
roadblock
square
to your
one.
shop, or there's a
Exactly.
breakage in the road. You just don't throw your hand
Exactly.
in the air and say that's the end. Okay. Thank
Exactly.
you very
Exactly.
much. You've touched also on how important, when we were talking of the key elements, how important communication is as part of the smooth transition. Now, when we talk of communication, there are different channels and tools. Can you give us maybe one, or talk about how most effective in keeping all stakeholders informed during transition?
Okay.
Example of
So
communication channel.
yes. Yes, ma'am, I'm going to give you an example of something that I faced a few years ago while I was working under NMPC as an intern. Now, I was working under Center for Computer Studies, CPSK, under NMPC, and I was in charge of the IT department. Now, as we all know, most of NMPC staff, with no insult intended or anything, but that was the reality I faced. A lot of the IT, the NMPC staff that I was working with at that time were not very familiar with the computer time. That was around 2010, 2011.
They're
So,
not
and
computer literate.
one of the objectives that I was placed to achieve was to get a computer system in every office. And here is where communication played a major role. At first, because change is something that a lot of people resist. There's always resistance with change. So a lot of the staff resisted that change. They said they didn't want computers in their offices. They prefer to write down everything on in their books and put them in folders. And it was we had a whole library of folders, but we needed to transition into the computer age. And a lot of the staff were resistant to that. So what we did was, myself and my supervisor, who was in charge of IT department, we sat down and we said, okay, we are going to arrange a meeting with all the staff, and we're going to try and communicate the importance of this transition to them, so that they will be able to we will be able to carry them along for this change. And we had a meeting with them and we told them, okay, see, this is digital age now. We can't be looking for a certain information and we go to a huge bulk room and we start going folder by folder. This is easy. We showed them how everything was going to happen, and we showed them with a few clicks you can find any information you want using your computer. And that was communication. So once we had that meeting, they were able to see, okay, this is the reason why this is important. Okay, we are willing to sit down and learn how to use the system and do this. So this is a simple example I can give you for communication. Communication is
That's
very important, as you need to carry along all your stakeholders in order for change or transition to happen seamlessly.
you are very correct, because getting them to understand the need, the reason, sometimes change the whole perspective. Some people feel challenged when they see new things, and the natural thing is that no, this is not going to work. But
Yes,
that
people are
example
most
is given.
comfortable in their comfort zone. They don't want to move
Exactly.
out of their comfort
Nobody
zone.
wants to shift from the comfort. That's
Exactly.
typical. I understand. Thank you very much. So we've talked about planning, we've talked about communication. These are part of the key elements. Another key element which you touched on is leadership.
Yes.
What role does leadership play in facilitating seamless shifts within an organization or business like we have defined?
Okay, so when you're as a leader, the first and foremost responsibility you have, especially when it comes to transitioning, is carrying everybody along. Now, communication is fine. You can communicate all you want, but if you, as a leader, do not put yourself in the shoes of the people that your subordinates or the people that you are leading or the people that you're in charge of, then you will not be able to understand how they think, or
Important.
how or yes, see things from their perspective and be able to push that change to them effectively. So as a leader, you need to take a step back. I always say this: when you're leading, it's not all about leading, you also need to be a follower for you to lead. So you need to know
To
how a follower
identify with them.
thinks, identify exactly before you're able to now lead effectively. So when a transition or a change is going on in an organization, the leader is the most important person, because is the way he carries along the whole transition phase is how everything is going to move. So carrying along everybody, putting yourself in their shoes, trying to figure out, okay, at this point, what exactly are they thinking? How do I now bring them along or put them to from this stage to this stage in order for us to move together in the right direction? So as a leader, you need to, again, communication, communication, communication. And you also need to put yourself as a follower, take a step back and think from their perspective. And then you'll see that as a leader, it's easier for you to navigate towards the challenges that come with transitioning.
Thank you very much. One of our audience just commented on the example you gave on NNPC. That's Dickiness Tina Babatokwe. That
Okay.
you first need to understand what made them to resist the change. Though she commended you for the um, position you and the supervisor quickly, that you quickly realize the importance of effective communication. So, like we have said, yes, it's important to let them see the reason why this change becomes necessary, or why we should, or why they should embrace the change. So, which is the same thing she's alluding to. Thank you very much,
Thank you. Thank you very
Dickness
much.
Babatokwe. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we are still on leadership, and
Mhm.
we've said it all. A leader must not only just lead, you must also be a follower, because it is when you seemingly put their shoes on that you know where it fits, where it pinches, and how they look at things, the perspective from which your followers are looking at things, and then you'll be able to understand how to make everybody tag along and feel belong. So with that, can you say there's a specific change management model or principle that anybody that wants to have this to adopt? You understand? Is there a particular change management model that you can recommend for our audience to adopt in terms of leadership?
Um, there is something that I personally think would work, and that is the growth model. So when you want to introduce a certain amount of change in an organization, you need to use the grow model. Now, the grow model is simply you trying to figure out, okay, what is the, you first of all gather information. So you do your background research, figure out all the market analysis, everything that you need to do. Then you can analyze. So after analyzing, you can now introduce your options that you have on ground while carrying all your stakeholders along. While carrying all your stakeholders along. Now, after you put your stakeholders together, you can now sit down and figure out or do your research or do your brainstorming to come up with possible solutions and possible challenges that can happen with change. Um, if you figure that out, try to listen to feedback. So try to figure out, okay, it's not only about you being a leader for you to just give everybody information and then expect them to come and work with. You need to also take feedback. Feedback is important, especially if you have departments or other employees or other people around you that have more knowledge on certain areas. You don't know it all, so you need to have feedback. Once you have feedback, then you can now sit down and say, okay, so this is how we are moving, this is what we are going to, and then you put it to work. It's important to know that this is a constant circle. It's just like project management, constant. You need to come back and check, okay, what is right, what is wrong, and then figure it out and then go back. You need to hold certain meetings at all times, be in constant communication with your stakeholders in order to carry out this thing. So there are so many models, but then you can just use this simple technique and figure it out as change management happens.
Thank you very much. Very, very good. Very true. And with this, I think the acronym GROW model, it speaks for itself. Talk of
Mhm.
goal definition and then reality of the background and
Yes.
obstacles and opportunities and the will and plan of action just speaks for
Mhm.
itself. If you are able to follow that, I'm sure we'll get,
That works well.
yeah, we'll get this to work well. Thank you very much. Now, the other leg of this key elements of seamless transition is employee engagement, because all said and done, you can have all this, you are not going to do the job alone. So you have employees that you need to to
Mhm.
carry along rather. So how can organization or business maintain high levels of employee engagement during a period of significant change?
Okay. So one thing I always tell business owners is you need to make sure that your employees feel like they have a say in your business. It's not a matter of do this, do this, do this. It's more of what do you think about this? Do you think this is possible? It makes them feel as if they are part and parcel of your organization.
Business.
They don't feel like, okay, I just come to work and I get paid and that's it. They feel like, okay, I am part of this organization. I have a say. And when you are going through transition or change management, employee engagement is very, very important, if not the most important, because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, they are the ones who are going to carry out this change, not you. You will be there to strategize and re-strategize, but they are the ones who are doing the actual work. Now, for you to get them to do it, you have to make them feel as if doing it means something to them. It's not just do it and I will pay you. Incentives are good, commissions are good, and all that, but you need to make them feel as if I am personally carrying this change on my head and I'm doing it for my own self as well. Once you do this, once you carry them along, again, communication, once you carry them along, you see that the resistance that you're going to get, or the nonchalant, because people
Attitude.
can be very nonchalant about change. It's not my business, it's not my organization, let me just go to work and get paid, and that's it. But if you push them in a way that they feel, see, I am actually doing this. I don't know if this is an example that I can use, but have we observed certain employees of car companies? When I say car companies, I mean companies, big car company brands like Mercedes, Lexus,
Toyota.
um, BMW, Nissan, Toyota. Have you seen how the employees work in the factories? They work as if they are the ones who created this car. It is their car, even though most of them end up not even driving these cars at all. But because, yes, but because they know that, see, I am the one who fixed the nuts and the bolts in this particular model that you are driving,
You are
they carry
responsible
it with
for
so
lives.
much pride. Yes, they carry it with so much pride when they work, because what the company makes them feel very important. It makes them feel, okay, if I don't do this part well, this car is not complete. So it's the same thing when you're treating your employees. Make them feel so important in this transition and this change that you will not be able to do it without them. Once you give them that particular perspective, you will not resist any. There will be little or no resistance, and they will carry this change on top of their head more than anything. So employee engagement is absolutely crucial when it comes to change management.
Very correct. You give them sense of belonging. And
Exactly.
that also massages the ego. Because
Exactly.
everybody has ego. It's not only leaders. So you need to make
Exactly.
them to feel belong, that yes, without me, not much can be done, and that gives them that satisfaction. Very good. Then there are another important part of the key element, which has even become very pronounced of recent, is technology. Technology and innovation. To what extent does technology play a role in facilitating a seamless shift in modern organization?
Technology is, just like you mentioned, technology is the in thing now, especially in the introduction of artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
Um, a lot of people are saying it's going to come and replace jobs and stuff like that. Technology is so, so important, and it makes life so much easier, especially when it comes to transitioning from one stage to another. When you're doing your research, technology is there. You find information at the click of a button. You find all the statistics and all the facts, all the background research you need to do to make sure that your transition is easy at a click of a button. Before, you have to go to the library and figure out, check books, ask questions, do souvenirs, do questionnaires, sorry, and figure out a lot of things, and then you gather that information or that data together, and then you turn it into information and you use it in your organization. Nowadays, that is completely obsolete. You just go to technology, internet is there, all the background research has been done for you. You just click a button and all the information will come out for you. So there are certain
very,
technology tools that can help you with data mining. You have all the data available on ground from your organization, but you need to now make sure that this data that you have, how are you going to now use it in your transitioning? This is where technology comes in. There's so many platforms and softwares that you can put in data, and it does the analysis for you, and you just get all the information that you need. When it comes to communication, technology is also important. You need to, especially when we had the COVID era. Imagine if there was no technology, a lot of businesses would have gone down because employees cannot go to work, they cannot communicate with each other. But then with technology, you had Zoom, you had Microsoft Teams. Transition was easy from offline to online. A lot of businesses moved online simply because technology was there. Now you can work remotely. You don't even have to go to the office for a lot of things. I know a lot of businesses that have not even gone back to the offices post COVID because it was easier for them to. They didn't have to pay for office rent. They only needed to pay for subscription for their softwares, and that
real
in
time.
turn saved a lot of money. Yes,
Yes.
a lot of money for them. So technology is playing a huge role. You just need to
Saves,
figure out
saves
what.
money, save time, traveling time
Yes,
is saved.
save traffic time. You can do work from your home, and this is possible because of technology. If not, I would have
Yes.
had to come to the studio to come and do
Yes.
this. And
Yes.
so technology plays a huge
Yes.
role. You just need to know what tools to use: data mining tools, communication tools, employee engagement tools. They are there as well. You need to, if you're putting in certain transition, you can educate your employees on that by enrolling them in certain courses that they can go and learn. And it makes it easier for them to transition to a better position for the organization. So technology plays a huge role, and you just need to know the tools to use.
Fantastic. That is very good. We'll go on a very short break, but before we do that, I would like to recognize those who have joined us in the course of the discussion. We have, of course, um, Dickiness Tina Babatope, who asked that question and made that contribution. Wendy Garuba Ayeni, Mr. Femi Jayesimi, Dr. Aseyin. Dr. Aseyin is still in London, I believe. I hope you are enjoying your stay, Dr. Aseyin. Then we have Mr. Olaba Njidaramola that joined us. I want to appreciate you all. So we'll go on a very short break and we'll be right back. Please remain connected. Thank you. Welcome back and thanks for staying connected. We have considered at least five, there are more, but very crucial five elements of successful transition. We are now looking at how do we measure. We consider all this. So putting all this in place. So how do we measure the success of having a seamless shift? The KPIs, that is. How do we measure it? What are the indicators?
Yes, okay. So like you said, the KPIs, which is the key performance indicators. So for every key element, you need to measure where you are, where you're going, and how to get there. Those are the things that you need to um, keep in place in order for you to make a smooth transitioning. Now, at the beginning, of course, you've made goals. And when you've done goals, they have to be smart, simple, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. So all these um, goals that you have put in for your transition, you now sit down and say, okay, where are we now? How are we getting there? Again, technology plays a huge role. It's just like project management. There are softwares that you put in place in order for you to correctly measure this transitioning. And then other things that you can do is you can have questionnaires that go across your employees. You can have accreditations done in order to know, okay, are the employees taking out this change very well? And what are they applying all the things that they said they were meant to apply for this change to move on? You can have that. You can also bring in external people or external organizations or external individuals that can help you measure, because sometimes when we are in the picture we don't really see if we are moving well or not. But another pair of eyes coming from external background can help us indicate, okay, this is where you're going wrong. This is what is happening. You need to figure out, okay, your key performance indicators, this is what needs to be done in order for you to achieve this particular transition well. So key performance indicators you can check with your customers and your employees, sorry, in terms of taking stakeholder meetings at certain levels. You can check the time, the money involved, because finances also play a major role. And then you can also check on the people that you're doing this transition with.
Okay, thank you very much. So, in what ways can organization learn from past experience, both successes and failures, to improve future transition? I guess that could even be one of the measurements of success, because you compare
Yes,
with where you are coming from, where you plan to reach, and where you are at the moment.
yes,
So,
yes,
in what
yes.
ways?
So you can again, it's a circle. So where constant change is constant, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So you are not expecting for yourself or your company to stay in one place. Definitely there will be change going on in the near future. So one thing you can do is you take a step back and measure where you've been and where you're going, where you are right now. And then you see, okay, what are the strategies that I used that worked very well for me? And what are the strategies that I used that did not work very well? Once you take these measurements, you can now also check, okay, how am I going to apply something better coming for the next coming transition that I have? One thing you can do is, as a business owner, you have to have a business plan. So your business plan is there to guide you as to where you're going and what works and what doesn't. Another thing is project management. I know we're talking about change, but it's also a project when you look at it. And you need to identify how this project has been done. Is it what strategies did I use? Okay, I know I put employee engagement. When I carried my employees along, did this happen very fast? Did it happen well? Yes. Okay. How am I going to bring them along in the next change? That's you writing things down. If you're putting in communication, okay, I used effective communication in this level. How am I going to do it in such a way that it's going to be better? Your learning outcomes. What exactly have I learned out of this? Your goals, what goals have been achieved and which ones were stopped halfway? So all these are things that you can that can help you measure your success and failure in terms of transition, and how you can improve in, if it's technology, what technology worked and which one did not work. So I know that next time I'm not using this particular software because I know that it didn't work for me in the right way. So you know this, but you need to know what worked and what didn't first before you're able to now improve on that.
Okay, thank you very much. I wish the time would permit us to go on and on because it's like having fun. They said time goes fast when you are having fun. You shared great insights in this very crucial topic, and we're very grateful to you, our Uthman, for going to the extent you have gone on this topic, sharing your own personal experience and other great insight. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for honoring our invitation. I hope next time when we keep calling, you oblige us and not consider us as a liver twist because we really enjoyed your session. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. So, would because of time, we need to go for the wrap up section. Maybe would bypass that break this time around, and then go quickly for wrap up section. Actually, our guests have done a fantastic job. But all the same, we have to follow through the procedure. As a form of wrap up, we've been told the importance of communication. This is very important. It should also be timely. It should be transparent and timely communication for people to buy the idea you are passing across them. And she has given us an example of where that worked very well. We need to address the concerns and questions proactively and not just why wish them away, because these are the kind of feedback that will get us to a better stage and a successful shift. Also, she talked about change management. This is very important. In fact, when we are talking of um, structured change management plan to help employees to adapt to new environment or new processes. This is very important to introduce to them. Then the role of leadership, like leaders cannot just stay aloof and expect the followers to follow. You have to empathize, you have to identify with the followers, you have to try to see things from their perspective in order to carry them along. It's very important to carry the followers, your employees, or even other stakeholders along when you are going on this journey to foster positive attitude towards change. Employee training, the development of employee in the line that we want them to go is very important. There may be need for new skills since we are changing processes or adding or enhancing that requires additional knowledge. So it may be necessary to train them on this new knowledge. And like we said, constant learning is something that helps in any process at all. So we need to bear that in mind to have employee development, invest in employee development for your business. Cross-functional collaboration is also important because we have different aspects of our businesses that requires different people handling different things. You need to get that collaboration going. Otherwise, somebody can jeopardize the success of another department. Technology integration, we cannot overemphasize this. Technology is the in thing, no running away from it, no shying away from it. It has come to stay, and in fact, it's evolving, it's changing constantly. So we have to integrate new technologies seamlessly into existing systems, and we have to understand the need for this because it gives us efficiency as it makes other tasks that would have been tasking so much very easy. So we need to encourage our employees to understand the need to have it. That is going to make their life easier and they make job better, more efficient. Then feedback mechanism is very important in all that we do. We must have feedback so that we can get better feedback both from the employee, from other stakeholders, customers. It's very, very important for us to have a smooth transition. Then we also need to have commitment to continuous improvement, because that is what feedback does for you. Once somebody is saying this is not going right and you fix it, you can only get better. Risk mitigation in every business, like we have always been saying in our past topic, risk is part of business. It's just that you must take calculated risk. It's important that for our business, we must be prepared to take risk, address unforeseen contingencies, issues promptly. Like our guest said, that is why we must have plan B, alternative plan, just in case something that we planned did not materialize or go well as we expected. So it's part of business. It cannot be devoid from any business process. Then we need to celebrate our milestone. Our little wins must also be celebrated. It encourages employees to know that they are recognized, they are appreciated for the little they have done, and then it spur them on to do more or to do better. So we need to recognize that. Then maintaining employee well-being. We talked about that we have to treat our employees just like we say customer is king. The next to our customer is our employee. We have to treat them well. We have to look at their well-being to make sure that they keep serving us the way we plan. Then transition evaluation. That is very easy. We have our plan. We look at our plan where we set our mind to go. We know where we started. We know how far we have gone on that journey. That way, we'll be able to assess if we are on the right channel, we are on the right course, and how far we have achieved success. So, if not, it will help us. That transition evaluation will help us to take a redress. So, our key performance indicators would help us to assess all this. So in form of conclusion, I hope you have been able to see how to achieve a seamless shift require combination of strategic planning, effective communication, and commitment to flexibility. You must be ready to adapt, change course, and move things in different directions that will work. So as we navigate through the complexity of change, let us remember that adaptability is key, and each challenges presents opportunity. Don't look at challenges on its own. There is an opportunity lurking behind that challenge, that challenges you have for growth. So please explore that challenges for the opportunity that exists. By implementing all that we have discussed today, we will be able to ensure a forward-thinking mindset, and we can not only navigate transition smoothly, but also pave the way for a more resilient and successful future. I would like to appreciate all our followers, all those that have joined us today. Some have recognized Pastor Tope Omage. Thank you for joining us. Niyi, thank you for joining us. And other ones that I've recognized before, I thank you all. And those new ones that have not been able to mention their name, I thank you for joining us today. It has been a knowledge enriching and engaging conversation, and I hope you found it very useful, value laden, and ideas for strategies that can move your business forward. I believe you have all enjoyed today's episode. If so, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. And once you have done that, remember to turn on the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information and upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as my Facebook at Comfort Eyitayo. Till I come your way again, I wish you best of luck on your endeavor towards continuous improvement and successes in your business. Thank you very much.